that one fork that always gets stuck in the very bottom of the dishwasher? And you're like, how in the heck did that fork get all the way in that dang dishwasher? So I grab that fork and I stand up right at the exact moment that my daughter Quinn said to me, Mom, can we do woman lessons? And it's sort of, like, can we do woman lessons? And I said, well, I'm sure I can. Like, I'm a woman. I'm standing here. Like, what does woman lessons mean? What does that mean to you? And I will never forget Nancy. She said so thoughtfully in her little 9-year-old squeaky voice, she goes, well, I want to learn how to put together an outfit. I want to learn how to do my makeup, and I want to learn how to cook. And I thought that is probably the sweetest thing that I've ever heard in my life.
Hey guys, it's Nancy, and welcome to the She Laughs podcast. Sit down with me while I chat and get personal with some insanely cool women as they share their smarts and their hearts. God gave us each unique gifts, and we got to use them. Inside each one of us is a cool girl. So buckle up. Let's get vulnerable. Let's get real, and let's laugh. Hey guys, welcome to the She Laughs podcast. I am super excited today about our guest. She's beautiful and smart and just cool girl. It's Tracy Peterson is here in the house. Hi, Tracy.
Nancy, I'm so excited to be here today. We're going to talk all things women and moms and all the things, all the roles that we have as women. So I'm excited.
Tracy, yeah, you're here and you speak on so many topics, and I'm excited to dive into the mother and then the daughter movement and just talk to us about raising these young women to be, what you talked about, these conquer self-criticism and comparison. And for us too, right? I feel like we still do.
Totally. Of course we do. I feel like this is just a skill and a battle that will be lifelong for women. But I also believe that we have the power as women and as mothers to create a better world where our daughters don't have to be a part of that battle per se. Really, all of this got started when so I have 3 children. My oldest daughter is Quinn. She's 12 now. But when she was 9 at the time, we were just sitting doing after school activities, and she was sitting, the TV was on in the background. She was sitting at the counter doing homework. I was doing dishes. And Nancy, I never do dishes. Like, that's my husband's role. Like, I never do dishes. But for whatever reason, I was doing dishes that day.
Okay.
I remember dishes are kind of meditative for me. And so I always say the thing that I'm picking up. So I would say, and put the cup away, and then plate, and I put the plate away, and then spoon, and I put the spoon away. And then I said fork. You know that one fork that always gets stuck in the very bottom of the dishwasher? And you're like, how in the heck did that fork get all the way in that dang dishwasher? So I grab that fork and I stand up right at the exact moment that my daughter Quinn said to me, Mom, can we do woman lessons? And it's
Did we give woman lessons? That's what she said?
Like, can we do woman lessons? And I said, well, I'm sure I can. Like, I'm a woman. I'm standing here. Like, what does woman lessons mean? What does that mean to you? And I will never forget Nancy. She said so thoughtfully in her little 9-year-old squeaky voice, well, I want to learn how to put together an outfit. I want to learn how to do my makeup, and I want to learn how to cook. And I thought that is probably the sweetest thing that I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my gosh.
But at the same time, that self-critical, high-performing mom brain started like circling and swirling.
Right.
And I thought, that's actually that's so sad. Is that all that she thinks it means to be a woman is what we look like?
Yep. That's what I was thinking when she said that. It's so darling and sweet.
Yes.
Also, wait, is that what
that is? Yes.
Yeah, right.
And we can turn the focus on me. I got pretty self-critical in that moment. And I was like, that all that I'm modeling for her? Is that all that she knows a woman is? Because that's all that I'm modeling. Because I love me a good outfit. I love me some good makeup. But
Who doesn't? Right.
But I also, as I was standing there with this literal fork in my hand, I was also at a fork in the road, and I called these 1-minute moments.
A
And
what
we have
moment?
these 1-minute moments.
Okay. 1 minute.
So these 1-minute moments we have with our children all the time. And I very easily could have just said, yeah, girl, like, I'll teach you how to do your makeup. We can like talk about matching and put together outfits, you know?
Right.
But the other side of me could have taken the other path where I would get introspective and I would say, what is that true and what is that definition of a woman that I really want her to become? And what type of woman am I right now? And what lessons did I learn? Sometimes the hard way in order to get
Wow.
me to the point where I'm at now. And what I ultimately want, and I think every mom wants, but what I wanted for my daughter in that moment, and it still stands today, is I want her to be truly confident, not confident in the way that the world says confidence comes, which is from what you look like, accomplishments that you have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that true confidence comes through looking inward and upward for your validation.
Explain that. Okay. So there's a couple things I want to break down here. One, what a 1 minute moment that was. I haven't heard that phrase before, but that's a big one because honestly, if I'm emptying the dishwasher, I have a 9-year-old. I don't have daughters. I have sons. I raised 2 boys. But if I did, and she said that, I would think I'm so task oriented. Okay. I'm going to finish doing the dishwasher and then, we'll go upstairs and I'll show you. But you took that and really, it was a heavy, big moment. And I think that's so cool.
And you know what? Though? Those 1-minute moments, sometimes it is just, let me show you how to do your makeup and let's go put together an outfit. But I think what made this a 1-minute moment for me, because I know you're a faithful woman, like a God-fearing woman, it was like time sort of slowed down and like the spirit was speaking to me like through my daughter. And it was not just like one of those in the car, like in passing, like she said it so thoughtfully where it struck me. And I was like, this is a learning moment. This is a learning moment, a teaching moment, a 1-minute moment that again, there's nothing wrong with going down that one fork and doing the makeup and the outfits. Those are fun and those, are necessary. Yeah. But then that other fork it didn't just change my daughter's and my life, but now what's grown of it, this mother-daughter, multi-generational mother-daughter movement grew from just that 1-minute moment. And that is what is so cool is I believe that our children can be our greatest teachers if we allow them to be.
Well, I agree with that. And it's if we allow them, right? What you said so let's go to have them be confident by looking inward and upward instead of at school, who's carrying what purse or, who's how many likes on social media, whatever, all this crazy is now. How do you build that confidence in themselves and inward and upward? Kind of define that for our listeners and me, because I want to hear. Because I think I can still learn, even though I don't have daughters.
Yes.
Use a little bit of dose of this too, right?
Absolutely. The sad statistic, Nancy, is that 90% of women don't love their bodies. 45% of women criticize themselves at least once before 9:30. Before 9:30 a.m., at least one time. 75% of women have disordered eating, right? So it's sort of like we never feel like we're enough. And oftentimes we look outside of ourselves, even, to our friends, to our peers, even to our parents, to our community. Like we're looking for that validation. We're looking for that acceptance. We're looking for that. And the reason why these women lessons came about was, yes, because my daughter Quinn asked a question, but also I know a lot of women who look confident from the outside, who look like they have it all together,
for sure,
but who silently and quietly are just so self-critical of themselves. And they're judgmental of themselves. Yes, they're so insecure. And I can say that because I was one. Like I can say that out loud. I'll be like, everybody would look at me from the outside and be like, oh my gosh, she is so confident. She has all of her stuff together. But there have been time and time and time again where like if I'm being honest with myself, like I was ridiculously insecure because I cared more about what other people thought of me than I did about myself.
Gosh, I love that you can be vulnerable and real enough to admit that, because what that shows is, one, you've overcome it, because if you still had that insecurity, you wouldn't be able to say that. Right.
Exactly.
And two, whatever you are doing works, and you're the proof. Your own testimony is that it works. But I think it is, and you've probably during your personal training days seen enough women struggle with body image, because and
Nancy, so I have a wellness and aesthetics practice. So I offer aesthetic services to women. So I worked in family practice for 7 years, and then I worked in medical aesthetics for the last 8, almost 9 years. And I have my own wellness and aesthetics practice. So even again, now there's varying levels of insecurity, right?
Sure.
And so I've seen the body dysmorphic disorder. I've seen it. I've worked with it. And I've worked with the entire spectrum, right? So these are not just lessons that I decided to come up with. These are concepts that I've been, talking with my clients and my patients. And I also mentor people and entrepreneurs in business, in wellness businesses.
And a nurse, right?
And a nurse. Yep. And a nurse practitioner. So I've seen these patterns. Yes, I saw them in myself, and I've been able to overcome them. And I will continuously be overcoming them. But these woman lessons help me to do that. It's like what got me to the point where I can say I am a truly confident woman, that I care more about what I think about myself and what God thinks about me.
How do you know, how do you get there, that your inner critic isn't, that you can silence that inner critic and really know when you are confident in yourself? Because that's a hard voice. That inner critic is awful.
Totally. It is. And I'll tell you exactly how. I'll tell you exactly how you do it. There's 7 steps.
Okay.
So these are the 7 woman lessons.
7 steps.
Yep. Okay. 7 steps or 7 lessons. Okay. So the first is remember who you are and whose you are. Yes, you're a child of God. You were divinely created. He gave you all of your strengths and all of your weaknesses. So it's a matter of accepting and loving yourself for all of your strengths and all of your weaknesses, despite your weaknesses. It's loving all of yourself. And there's just weaknesses, and there's been conditioning from society, And I think oftentimes, even in the Christian community, there's a scripture in Matthew that says we're to love God and love our neighbor. And then we stop and we forget the last part that says, as you love yourself.
Exactly. Right.
That I cannot truly love God or trust God if I don't love his creation. I'm his creation. All of my strengths, all of my weaknesses. And how can I truly,
unless you believe it, that you're worthy, you can't receive all of his love fully, right?
You can't give what you don't have.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
You can't give what you don't have. And so how can I give, unconditional love to my neighbor or to my children if I don't unconditionally love myself for all my strengths and for all my weaknesses? And so there's a series of, activities that we go through to teach this concept. One of them is to remember yourself. And maybe I would just encourage the listener, just close your eyes and think back to the time when you were the most present, in your body, where you were just this is who I am. And for me,
you mean, or what? When you say, remember when you're present in your body too, to me and the listener driving her car wherever she is right now going, what does that mean? How would you define that?
Yeah. So I would also define it as, when was a time in your life when you were the most happy? When you didn't care what people thought of you. Usually it's when we're a lot younger. For everybody, it's different, but usually it's right around 7, 8, 9. And mine, I totally remember mine. It was 1989, and I was living in Sandy, Utah. And I remember my best friend from across the street, her name was Stephanie. She came over to my front door, knocked on it and said, Tracy, we're running through the sprinklers. Want to come? And I'm like, yes, I totally want to come. I take off my New Kids on the Block, Walkman that I had. And I slipped into my color block swimming suit and slipped into my jelly pink sandals. And I'm running through my house and I grab this garden fresh strawberry off the counter that my mom was cutting fresh from the garden. And it's like dripping down my face. I grab my towel. I run across the street to my friend Stephanie's house, just rocking my swimming suit, throw my towel off to the side, and my feet just stomp into this puddle of icy, cold hose water. And we pulled out this banana yellow slip and slide, and we laughed and we played and we pushed each other. We went forwards and backwards and sideways, and we were just laughing hysterically. And just strings of my long blonde, like waist long blonde hair would just be like whipping me in the face, and I'm tasting like the leftover strawberry in my mouth. And that was my moment.
I love
when I was fully present. Never once did I think, if I'm running down this slip and slide, is my cellulite showing? Are my thighs jiggling? Maybe I'll wear this one-piece swimming suit, not my two-piece, because, Heather's going to be there and she's so much more fit than I do. She looks so much better in a swimming suit than I do. So I'm going to wear my one. You're not worried about any of that. You are 100% present and okay and loving and accepting of who you are and who God created you to be in that moment.
Everybody listening has their moment or trying to come up with one. When they get there, then what? What do we do?
We want to remember what that little girl was like before the world got a hold of her, before people's opinions started to mean more to her than how her opinion of herself. And so that's step one, is remember who you are and whose you are. Remember what that little girl was like and write down how she showed up. Like in that example that I gave, I was fun loving.
Yeah.
I was sociable. I was athletic. I was outgoing. there are just things that we worry about as women now that we never worried about then. And we need to get back to that. I think it's not so much a matter of changing who we are or learning anything new. It's really unlearning what society has taught us.
What the world has done to us.
What the world has done to us. It's really a remembering who we are and whose we are, and that He created us for that exact reason. And so lesson 2 is gratitude grounds. So gratitude is a very important daily practice. If you notice, I didn't say a daily perfect. It's not something that we're here to be perfect in. And I really want to throw away that word of perfection because I think it's misinterpreted, especially a lot,
And I think we all struggle to be, quote, perfect. And nobody's ever been except for Jesus, right? But we maintain this like hamster on a treadmill wanting to do that and do and do and do. So yes, I want to hear about step.
And the problem is that we do and do and do and do. And what happens when we do and do and do? We still feel empty.
Yeah.
Because the goal is not the perfection. It does not mean ideal. The Greek root of perfection actually means whole and complete.
Oh, whole and complete. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So in the Greek translation, it means whole and complete. And so, so it's not about this ideal, because guess what? Everybody's ideal body, ideal life, ideal version of success. Everybody's is different. Everybody's is different. And so if you're aiming to please and your target is someone else's ideal or idea of perfection, you are literally aiming at a moving target. You're never going to hit it. If someone else's ideal of perfection, an idea of perfection, everyone's is different.
So we're all different.
Yeah. And so whoever you're in front of, whether it's your husband, your mom, your dad, your pastor, your best friend, everybody's ideal is different. So if we're seeking for our validation in all of those people's opinions of what perfection is or what the ideal is, we're aiming at a moving target and we're never going to hit it.
Golly, isn't that
the only? It is. It is so sad. But at the same time, we're in charge. And so that's what I want. That's what I want women to understand, is that these are practices. It's never perfect. Like, you're never, ever going to be perfect at remembering who you are and whose you are. You're going to constantly need to be reminded of that. So that's okay. It's just, I can come back to that lesson and just remind myself, yep, Tracy said on that podcast with Nancy, I need to remember who I am and whose I am, right?
Yeah. I love that it's a daily practice and not something that you do once and you've got it and it just happened. Nothing really in life is, I mean, even exercise, we have to walk every day, not just once, right?
Yeah.
We want to stay healthy, right? So it's a daily practice.
It is a daily practice, which is why these lessons are really kind of short and they're kind of catchy so that you can just always go back and grab them and remind yourself. So lesson number 2 is gratitude grounds. If you have ever felt overwhelmed or anxious or always, especially as high performing women, that's what I work with mainly, they're always looking to the next thing. Like we never take time to celebrate our wins in the moment.
Yes.
To the next. What's our next goal? So many high performing women that I work with, they just say, I just want to be present. And I just want to be present in the moment and not be thinking about my to-do list and not be thinking about what I didn't do the day before and all the ways that I messed up and just reliving that. So
4 a.m. when we wake up going, oh my gosh, I have to do this, write it on the side of the bed so I don't forget. Yeah. I mean, brain.
Totally. Yes. So mentally, it is an impossibility for gratitude and anxiety to exist at the same time in your brain. If you're grateful, it immediately brings you back and grounds you in the present moment. Sure. So if you're living in the future, you tend to be more anxious, have more anxiety, be woken up at 4 a.m. because you're worried about something.
Right.
But if you are sad, down, blue, depressed, you're living and reliving things that happened in the past. So if you favor one or the other, sometimes people jump back and forth between the two. The fastest way to snap yourself out of anxiety and anxiousness and snap your way out of depression or sadness or feeling blue all the time is to develop a practice of daily gratitude because it grounds you in the present.
So when you say that, are you saying to look around and identify things you're thankful for or thank him for the actual problem or whatever it is that's causing the anxiety, the test tomorrow, the, job interview, whatever it is to thank him or to thank him that you have friends, that there's air and sunshine.
I think I would recommend to start small because our brains are also not dumb. And if you're going through something really hard and really trying and you're like, I'm so thankful for this car accident that just killed my dog. It's going to be kind of hard to actually be grateful for the really hard thing. I think perspective comes with time, but a very simple gratitude practice is, I listen and I just start. There's no right and there's no wrong way. So each morning, people have these big, huge, drawn out morning routines. My morning routine is 3 minutes and it works for me because to your point, in order for something to stick and a habit to form, you have to be consistent with it. And so I can't do an hour-long morning routine. Sorry, y'all, can't do it.
But I love people to but I
listen.
Right.
And I'm not a big believer in can't. I choose not to. I'm choosing to not do that. Could I? I probably could. It would take a lot out of me. In the season,
3 or 4 to do it. So
right. Right. But then I'd be a grouch all day. So my thing, I need to have something that is simple and easy. And so my morning routine involves gratitude. So the very first thing that I do when I crack open my eyes and I have any level of awareness is I pray. I just start talking to God. That's what I do. I just start talking to him. And then I sit up, I usually go to the bathroom, and then I come back to my bed and I read just a little scripture. And then I write down gratitude, 1, 2, 3, and then God's errand, 1, 2.
And God's what?
God's errand. And I just stand at my window and I ground my feet on the ground, on the floor, and I face the sun. I face the sun wherever it is. And on cloudy days, I really miss the sun. So sometimes I'm grateful for the days. On cloudy days, I'm grateful for the sun. Right. But I think there's some metaphors in that. I think we should always be turning to face the sun. The sun gives life.
Yes.
It has energy. It allows things to grow. And then we can talk about the sun, meaning the Son of God. And we should always be turning our lives to him, right? And you can feel the warmth on your face.
Yes.
But I think even getting in touch with your senses is a really simple tip. Is what do you see? What do you hear? What can you feel? Right. What words are you saying to yourself? That's kind of like your internal dialogue. What do you taste? So that's a real simple, easy thing. If you're just like, I don't even know where to start, and I might be faking it.
Good. And I think to your point, I wake up every day and pray, because if I get out of bed, even if I'm running late, without doing that, I know from experience that my entire day will be wonky because I didn't connect with him. And so I do that first thing in the morning, but I really like your practice of 3 minutes. It's intentional, thoughtful, and it's consistent, right?
Yeah.
And you list out 3 things.
3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I pray again and I say, God, what do you need me to do today? And then I just listen. What do I hear? Yes, such a great question. I think people hear God in different ways. I don't hear with my ears. I hear with my mind. So thoughts will come into my mind and I know that those thoughts are not my thoughts. Yep. So I hear him in a few ways. Like if I'm praying and then I'm pondering and I'm waiting for an answer, I will get a thought that I know. Now people say, well, how do you know it's your thought and not God's thought? I'm like, you know what? 99% of the time it's his thought. Like it's a thought that you're having that's inspired by him because you're asking, and it's like, ask and ye shall receive, knock and it shall be opened up unto you. Right? 99.9% of the time that I follow that thought, that prompting, good things happen. So then I write my 3 gratitudes, right? So that pulls me from the future. It keeps me out of the past. It grounds me in the present moment, that gratitude practice. 1, 2, 3. And I'll share with you. I think my ones today, if I can remember correctly, it was the sun. Like I love the sun on my face, feeling the sun on my face. Number 2 was and then I thought of my son, Tristan. He's 10 years old. I love Tristan, and I love that because not all my kids want me all the time. My youngest wants me all the time. She wants to like be by me and just feel me close. She likes to come in and cuddle in bed. Like I love that. Or when my older kiddos have those little moments where they want me and they need me. I was grateful. Yeah, grateful for that. And I can't remember what number 3 was. I'll have to go back and look. But then I just say, God, what do you need me to do today? And some days it has to do with work. Some days it's a task I have to get done. Some days make sure that you go take Tristan to go get a snow cone. Like just something what I would think is kind of silly. You're like, oh, but God, do you realize my to-do list is yay big, yay long? You know? But it's like he has a way of stripping away all the extraneous stuff and helping you to focus and prioritize on what matters most in that moment.
Oh, that is so true. Or what you thought was insurmountable at the first of the day. How am I going to do all this? How am I going to get it done? There's not enough hours in the day. When you give it to him, at the end of the day, you realize all the doors he opened, and he just made it flow so smoothly. Everyone you needed to talk to was available. Everywhere you needed to go, you got to. And it's just surrendering that to him, I think, is where we struggle, because it's so easy to look at ourselves to get it done, right?
Totally. And so to that point, Nancy, is doing this, being grateful, and then being on God's errand, whatever it is that not being accomplished? Like if you can just accomplish the 3 things that God needs you to do, you're going to come in and you're going to fill it in with your to-do list and, get organized with your time management and all the things that we do. But being on God's errand sets the rudder for your day so that your ship doesn't feel like it's tossed to and fro and here and there and everywhere. It's like my rudder is set. I've got my course and I'm going. The waves are going to come. You got to be flexible. Yes, you're going to have to surrender a little bit to the elements every now and then, but your rudder is set. Your direction is pointed, right?
That's a good analogy. Yes.
Yeah. And my number 3 for today, I think it'll resonate
remember who you are. 2 is gratitude grounding. And what is 3?
Yes, I will tell you 3, but I do want to make sure that I go back and tell you what my 3rd God errand was today. You're okay. Is smile more and mind my tone. As I was getting my kids.
What does mind my tone mean?
Mind my tone, not being snippy, short, snippy, like how I'm asking my family to do things.
Okay.
How I'm asking people with my work, how I'm asking for things. Mind my tone. Because, sometimes it's like, get ready.
My mouth be pleasing to you, right?
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's like, get your shoes on. We're late for camp, right? So instead, I'm minding my tone and I'm smiling. Hey, could you get your shoes on? Could you get your shoes on? I want to make sure we're on time for camp. I want to make sure you have plenty of time to play, right? So it's these little reminders, and God, he will answer you. If you ask, he will answer. So yes. So number 3, let's go back to woman lessons. So we talked about remember who you are and whose you are. Number 2 is gratitude grounds. Number 3 is own your divine gift. How do you want me to use it? Use that gift to glorify God. Use that gift to serve other people. And then everything else comes. Success comes, finances come, all of those things.
And if you do this, because you love this so much, I'm about to come out of my chair, because I so believe that God has given all of us a gift that
Everyone
is for us to use to share with the world and glorify him in it, right? And we're not going to be able to lead our best life if we are not using that gift. I mean, then we are stuck in this mediocrity, right? And allowing all these voices to control what we do and where we go and how we react instead of this.
That's difficult for people to accept about you. That thing that makes you different, that thing that makes you odd, that thing that makes you stand out is the exact thing that God is going to use to bless other people's lives. That's what makes you his and unique. Yeah, that's the glorifying. 100%. That's the glorifying part. So we just need to get really good at relabeling some of those limits so we can be free from them, because mine was bossy. I would get triggered by it anytime somebody was like, oh, you're such a boss, or like boss babe, that kind of like went around for a few years. And I was like, oh, I can't, I literally am getting the chills right now, even thinking about it. I was like, oh, I can't be a boss babe because I'm bossy. Like I can't. But all that I did is I just learned to reframe it and relabel it. So instead of being bossy, I'm a master delegator.
Ooh,
and I can get stuff done.
Get it done.
And that's it. And that's a gift, right? If you're too confident or have been told that you're too confident, because I'm not going to say you're too, I don't think anybody's too anything. Who even gets to decide what the too is? Where's that scale?
Seriously. Yeah. And why are we giving them that power?
Totally. Yeah. So if people have been told they're too confident, well, that just means you're assertive and you have leadership skills.
I could not agree more.
Yeah. And if you've been told that you're too emotional, well, that just means you express your feelings and you have empathy for other people.
Yes, it's so true.
And if people have been told you're too needy, that just means you value connection and relationships. They mean a lot to you.
So good.
Right? So
and
it's just reframing all of these.
This is part.
Yep.
So that's 3.
Yep, right? That's 3. And we'll make it through here before we wrap up. So number 4 is be self more, not selfless.
Okay. And a culture that is kind of, not telling us to do that, right? I mean, I think selfless is when, we are supposed to focus on everybody else and fill everybody's needs and ignore our own. And when we do that, we're revered and people appreciate it. And so we keep doing that, ignoring what our own stuff is, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. And you're a frazzled, empty, flustered, unfulfilled mess.
Completely.
We're supposed to just put on a smile.
Yeah.
and look like we still have it all together.
That funny plastic smile she put on. Yeah. I mean, it's so true. Like we've got it. I've got it.
Yeah. And I think that the greatest gift that we can give our children is the gift of a mother who believes in herself and goes after her dreams.
I could not agree more. Yes. For them to see that and be able to emulate that behavior is huge.
Exactly. Because in doing that, we are giving them permission to do the same. All throughout our life, we're told, like, you can be whatever you want to be, right? Like, what are your dreams? What are your whatever? And then it's sort of like society says, until you have kids, right? And then you sacrifice. We're like these self-sacrificing martyrs, And it's you can have both. You can absolutely prioritize your family and have connected relationships with your spouse and your kids and have passions and do things that you love to do.
That feed your soul, right?
Yeah. Yes, you can. Is it easy? No. Are you going to learn a lot? Yes. Are you going to have to learn that balance doesn't exist? Yes, balance does not exist. There are a constant series of micro adjustments that you're going to need to make. If you imagine, and I've done this in a seminar before, imagine you're standing in a huge auditorium and you're at the back of the room and there is somebody up front at the front of the stage doing a handstand. I've done this before, and this woman was actually like 9 months pregnant and she still held a handstand. from the back of the room, I would say, does she look balanced? And you would say, yeah, she's balanced. But then we would run up, to the front of the stage. And I would say, get down on her level and look at her hands. Her hands were not balanced. They were constantly like gripping and moving and micro adjusting and moving out and then moving in. And then, there are these little micro adjustments that are going to have to happen in order for you to be a present, well-connected mother and be successful in business, right? Like you're going to have these little micro adjustments. It will never be completely balanced. There will be periods of imbalance, but I believe that imbalance is power. Imbalance is power because it's a teacher. It teaches you. And we've all, listen, I could zone out on my work and just be like, like in the zone and neglect my kids. But immediately I feel a little ping. That's out of balance. But imbalance for me is power because I learn from it. And I'm like, ooh, I feel that little ping.
Yes, something about hugs.
Doesn't feel right. What is this teaching me? And it's like, dude, you've been zoned in on this project or whatever it is for X amount of time. I'm like, that's right. Yeah. So then what do I learn? I need to go set a little timer to remind me, go out, play with your kids, connect with them, do a one-on-one date, whatever it is. And the opposite is true as well. I could be playing with my kids and being solely focused on, what's in front of me. And then I'm like, but I'm I'm not growing my mission and my business and my passion and my purpose. I feel that little ping too.
Yes.
So it's like, So you're going to have these little micro adjustments that you're going to have to make constantly. And all that it is, if you feel imbalance in your life, it's powerful. It is powerful because it becomes a teacher.
And it is a teacher because in the past, when I would have something so, I had to work I was working this week and I had something in my spirit felt like I needed to help my mom with.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've got to go see this client. I've got to. But what I've learned is to listen to that tug, because if I were to still go do the work thing, because I have to, got to do this. I've got to check this box. I've got to do it. I got to do it. While I'm doing it, I am not present. I am a mess because I know my spirit knows I need to be somewhere else. Right. And so I was able to just go, you know what? I'm going to have to put these clients aside today. This is where God wants me, where I know I need to be. Spent the rest of the day, cleaning stuff out for my mom. And it felt right. There wasn't any afterward, I'll see this client, because experience has taught me through listening to that I'm able to keep the balance you're talking about, right? Without being a panic frazzled mess.
Yeah. You illustrated a beautiful point of being present where your feet are, not wishing you were somewhere else, not hoping you were somewhere else, like really being present in that moment. That is another gift that we give people, is the gift of our presence. And they can sense it. They know when our mind is somewhere else. But anyway, I was going to say, so that's be self more, not self less. Building and growing yourself so you can give your family the best of you, not what's left of you.
Love that.
Okay. So then 5 is you are more than your body. We could do a whole podcast episode just on that one to expand our spirit as much as we focus on our body.
And this is these young girls, it's such a focus because of social media and Hollywood. And I mean, some of these girls show up for these award shows and I'm like, is she going to be able to make it to the stage? I don't think she's eaten in 2 months, and they're like little lollipops. And our daughters look up to them and think that if they aren't that, then they aren't good. Right. And so
you are so much more than your body. And it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be an outsider, and it's okay to not have those people be the women that you look up to. And that's one thing that I do love about this connection age and this content creator age that we live in, is there are so many influences. There's sort of like this calling going out for really good influences for women to sort of rise up and to be an influence for good that we want to see in the world. And it's going to take a lot of woman power to fight back against the loud messages. But I'm here for it. Like I'm absolutely 100% here for it, because our girls deserve better, I mean, I grew up in the era of the Christina Aguilera and the, Britney Spears and the Paris Hiltons and, just those body image expectations. And, it was like 20, 25 years of disordered eating patterns.
For sure.
But it wasn't just celebrity. And that's the one point that I want to make. It's not just celebrity. It's the example inside of the home. If our girls always see us dieting, always see us restricting, always dieting before vacations or whatever it is, they're going to repeat that pattern. No, it's a pattern that you have to do a lot of unlearning. And again, it's not just through celebrity. Like, it is about us as moms setting the example for a healthy relationship with food, a healthy relationship with movement. And that's heavy. And trust me, I understand what heaviness that is. That's why You Are More Than Your Body was the last woman lesson that I put in place, because I was like, how do I talk about this topic without offending everybody? I'm going to offend so many people. But the fact of the matter is we have to invest in our vessel. We have to take care of our bodies. We don't need to be obsessed with our bodies and have that have our worth lie in our weight or our appearance. But we have to invest in our vessel and take care of it. And if we don't, I'm going to speak from my experience. When I wasn't investing in my vessel and I had an unhealthy relationship with food, and I didn't love my body at every stage and age, even when I was, the smallest I had ever been. Felt less connected to God. And so if people are putting a hyper focus, and as women, we put a hyper focus on those things, it can create a disconnection.
A wedge. There shouldn't be one.
And there is a way to have alignment, right?
Is that because it's becoming more important than he is, or what is it?
I mean, I think our bodies and caring for our bodies can become idols just like anything else.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
And when we're putting such a hyper focus and we're putting our worth in a number on a scale, or we're putting our worth in whether or not we have a six pack. Do you know?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So sad.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it is. But again, we have control over that. It just took me, until I was 40, fighting it forever. And if we can't enjoy our lives through the process, right? I believe in 80-20, 80% whole food, 20% soul food. Like, you gotta be able to live your life and enjoy some things, but you can do
so
it.
Many catchy ways to remember this.
Well, I have to have catchy, otherwise I forget. So the last two are your community counts. That's all about friendships and community. And friendships are really important for women, and community is really important for women.
So much.
Oh my gosh. And is there not just this overwhelming message of just mean girls and cliques and catty behavior? And I'm just like, can we just unsubscribe from this already, please?
Forever.
And can we stop sensationalizing it? Can we stop putting it on TV? And can we stop consuming it? We are the ones that are asking for it. So sometimes you just have to take a stand and be like, no. And that's the other thing is this is a controversial statement that I make, but I stand by it 1,000%, that we tell our girls to be friends with everyone. Be friends with everyone. I don't think you should be friends with everyone. We shouldn't be friends with everybody. I think that's well-intentioned, but I think what we mean to say is you should be kind to everyone.
Right.
Be kind to everybody, because kindness is the standard, but friendship has standards. There's certain standards that you need to meet in order to have my friendship. And I also have to hold myself to that same standard as your friend. Because if we're trying to be friends with everybody, then we're constantly changing who we are to fit into the group that we're with. It's exhausting. And then we forget who we are, right? And that takes us back to step one, which is remembering who you are.
So good.
That's 6. And then number seven is live in your potential. Live today. Yep. Live today the way your future self would. Because every choice you make, you're casting a vote for who you're becoming.
Okay. Can you give an example of that? My mind's going to work, but I don't know.
Yeah. Living in your potential. So if I want to be in my future potential is I want to be inspiring and uplifting, and I want to be a connected mother, and I want to be an incredible business woman. What sorts of behaviors and what sorts of decisions would that Tracy in the future make?
Okay.
So I would probably prioritize my family, right?
Right.
I would be consistent in my entrepreneurship activities.
Yep.
I would be consistent in growing my business, right? If I want to be inspiring, then I probably need to invest in my vessel and take care of myself.
Right.
Totally, Nancy. So if you're living in your potential, that means you're living today like that potential version of yourself would. So you probably need to be taking your vitamins, right? You need to be supplementing. You need to be, choose 80-20, right? You need to be focusing on functional body movements. You need to be maintaining your muscle mass, right? Because you lose 5% of it every decade after the age of 40. And so you need to be like lifting weights. So then the motivation for everything that you do doesn't become vain metrics.
That's exactly.
It becomes who you want to become. You're casting a vote every day for the person that you're becoming.
That's so true. But we don't always think of that. We're in the moment and we're not thinking about, okay, what do I have to do in the moment to where I can be what I want to be, my future self? How am I serving today? Right?
Yeah.
Look back and go, why didn't I do that for myself so that I could do this for them or, or for that or for those people, whatever it is.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Those are women lessons. That's how you look inward and upward for your validation. And you can remind yourself of these all the time. Remember who you are and whose you are. Whenever you find yourself in that moment, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling terrible. Remember who you are and whose you are. Grounded in gratitude. Own your divine gift. Don't wish for it away. Don't want somebody else's. Own yours and then grow it. And be self more, not self less.
Yeah,
you want to be the best version of yourself. You are the best investment that you can make. It is not selfish. It is being a selfless. You are giving your family the best of you, not what's left of you. You are so much more than your body, but still you need to invest in your vessel. But make sure you're spending equal amount of time expanding your spirit, because that's really what makes you who you are. And then your community counts, having a high standard for friendship, and kindness is a standard, but friendship has standards. And then live in your potential.
This is so good. It's so good. And I would love for you, I know you have a retreat of some kind, and I would love to hear about that.
Yes.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, they can go to tracypeterson.com and just join our VIP list, and any events that we have coming up, we'll push those out. We always do 2 retreats a year, one in November, one in June. So if you can't hit the one in June, look for the one in November. It's usually that first weekend in November. So the first weekend in June, the first weekend in November, and then the Momfidence virtual mastermind in between.
And guys, that's Momfidence, MOM, which I think is so clever. Momfidence. Awesome. Tracy, you are so inspiring. And I know people must tell you that all the time, but I'm telling you, this has been so amazing for me. And I know everybody else will really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's such a good question. And the simple tip that I would give is just start and just talk to God. Literally just talk to God. And then I'm in the scriptures. Like I'm in the Bible, and just start there and listen. You don't have to read and read and read and read. I just think opening it up and seeking and even reading one verse. I think sometimes we think we have to have these big, elaborate, routines in order for it to be effective. The compound effect comes into play. If you're at least talking to God, start there.
I love that.
Start there.
And He sees our hearts. And if it's seeking Him, I believe that He will bless that. And even just to say, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to pray, but I'm trying this, and here I am. Starting
that's it.
That. Here I am.
And I think it's also like realizing that He's your Father. Like He really is. He wants to hear from you. And He will take you as you are. You do not have to be perfect to approach Him. No, you're good. You're good. You don't have to be perfect to approach Him. And the irony in that is He is actually the one that perfects us. He is the one that makes us whole and complete. And how do we become truly confident? We involve him in that 7-step process.
We have to. I believe, like you said, it's our true north, right? And he is our father. And much like our children as their mothers, I mean, do we want them to be perfect? No. Do we expect them to be? No. Are they always going to get it right? No. And do we want to hear from them? Yes. I mean, we'd be so sad if our kids didn't come home and want to share with us, right?
And isn't that so hard when you know your kid is struggling and you're just like, talk to me about it. Like, just like dump on me. Like, tell me all of it. And they're like, I don't feel like it. And you're like, no, but it feels so much better to just get it out,
Yes.
Sometimes I try to just imagine, just imagine his face. And I am not a super visual person. When I close my eyes, because I know some people are, I don't have that gift. And that's okay.
Right.
Because I don't. And a lot of people see a lot of things. I don't. I see black. I see the back of my eyelids. I see the back of my eyelids, but that's where faith comes into play.
Yes.
And I just know that anytime that I have prayed to him, it turns out well. Either I am filled with more peace.
Thankful that you came today. That's one of my thankfuls today. Please follow Tracy Peterson. Again, that's www.tracy with an I and Peterson with an E at the end.
An O-N.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. And I'm looking at it. Okay. Tracy with an I and Peterson with an O. I hope you come back to see us.
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
Thank you for making time. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thank y'all for listening today. And we are so grateful for Tracy. And I will see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to She Laughs. If this episode encouraged you, would you share it with a friend who might need a little courage or a reminder that she's not alone? Every share helps more women find their inner cool girl and kick fear to the curb. You can find links to our guests, watch full episodes on YouTube, and connect with me on social at She Laughs Podcast Official, all in the show notes. And remember, the dream inside of you means something. Take the first step. Be brave. God's got your back. And girl, you've got this.